5 things is a must-do. Talking about LS swap power steering that will absolutely save you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of frustration. Plan to do an LS swap, these are 5 things that will absolutely save you a lot of time. They save you a lot of money. They will save you a lot of frustration. I'm telling you this from experience of what I know, what I've been through. You know what I'm saying? I went through the go through. So guess what? But I'm thankful for what I went through, because what I went through is for you. So I'm here, I'm able to help you out. I'm able to save you all that. You know what I'm saying? Real quick though, your situation, your current situation, whatever you going through in life, just remember this, YouTube. Your situation ain't for you. It's for somebody else. It's for somebody else. If you're a child of God, your situation that you dealing with ain't for you. Look at what Jesus Christ went through. Yeah, he shed blood on Calvary, knowing that he was gonna die. But guess what? He didn't do that for himself. He did it for you, and he did it for me. So YouTube, I'm sharing this information with you today. Let's get right to it. First thing first, number 1, you probably heard me talk about it in some of my previous videos. And that is if you got a fresh bill, or if you just completed a LS swap and your power steering lines are not hooked up, I don't recommend you run that engine longer than 1 or 2 minutes without power steering fluid. Because when you run that engine without power steering fluid and your belt ain't hooked up to it, or your lines ain't ran, and that power steering pump is dry, you gonna burn that pump up. And I know that for a fact, because guess what? That's what I did. I ran my engine for a couple of minutes in the garage, 5-10 minutes here, 5-10 minutes there. And eventually, I got to a point where I was able to drive the car. I even drove it a couple of times without the power steering fluid in the pump. And guess what? That ruined the pump. So, you know what? I highly recommend you don't do it. Otherwise, you're going to be buying another pump, or you're going to be having to take that one off and take it back, get you a new one, put a new one on, and it's just a whole lot of unnecessary hassle that you'll have to go through. So I highly recommend that. The second thing is, I highly recommend that whenever you change your power steering pump, or whenever you change your power steering gearbox, either or, you could be changing out one of the two. If you swapping it out or you swapping one of them, I highly recommend that you flush the power steering fluid out. Now, yeah, people gonna be telling you, yeah, you ain't gotta do all that. Yeah, you ain't gotta do all that. People always gonna talk, but I'm telling you what I know, because what I honestly believe that happened to the second power steering pump that went bad is I drained the fluid out, but I didn't flush it out. I let all of it drip out, took the hoses loose. I let the fluid drain, but I didn't flush it out. Now, let me show you real quick what flushing your system out. I'm not gonna go into details. If somebody want me to make a video about that, drop in the comments and I'll make a video about it. But check this out, YouTube. So whenever you flush your system, what you would do is I take the line off of the reservoir, the return line off the reservoir. That's it right there. This is the return line off the reservoir. And then I unscrew that. I block this off so no fluid don't leak out of the reservoir. And I run this hose to a drain pan. I slip another piece of hose on top of this line and run it to a drain pan. And then what you do is you take the cap off, take the reservoir cap off, and you make sure fluid is in here. And you turn the key on, and the pump is gonna suck the fluid in, and instead of going back in the reservoir, it'll go into the drain pan that you got this line ran into. So basically, you pushing all of the fluid out, and you got fresh fluid that has ran all through the system. So that means that if there is anything, any particles or little metal parts in the gearbox, all that's gonna be flushed out. And guess what? That's gonna save you a lot of time. It's gonna save you a lot of money. It's gonna save you a lot of frustration. Now, you know, hey, it is what it is. But I'm telling you what I know from experience, YouTube. Now, the next thing is whenever you replace the pump or whenever you replace the power steering gearbox, is to make sure that you use the GM recommended bleed procedure. Yeah. Make sure that you use the General Motors recommended bleed procedure for your power steering. I didn't know it was no recommended way. Not till I started having all these problems and having all these issues. Let me tell you something. Every time I changed the power steering pump on the old school back in the past, you know, you change it out, you open the cap, you fill it with fluid, you crank it up, pour more fluid in there. No, that's not the GM recommended way, okay? The General Motors recommended way is you gotta jack the car up and you do it manually without turning your engine over. Yeah, I ain't know that either, but that is the General Motors recommended way. I could do a video on that. I think I have done it in some of my other videos. I think it's in the power steering video. Click that link in the top right corner, check that video out. And I talk about that in that power steering video. So yeah, that's some good stuff, man. Now, the next thing is, this is number 4, make sure you use a power steering cooler. Yeah, make sure that you use a power steering cooler. Let me tell you why I say that. You're gonna have a lot of people say, nah, you ain't gotta do that. Yeah, I did an LS swap 1 or 2 times and I ain't never used no power steering cooler. But the reason I say that is because General Motors used them in pretty much every LS powered vehicle. So look at the Tahoes, look at the Suburbans, look at the Camaro, like my Camaro. Look at the Corvette. If you look it up online, you can see that General Motors or Chevrolet, they use these in these vehicles. power steering coolers. Yeah, I ain't know that either. It's almost like a little radiator. But let me show y'all what I did for the 72. So, I've got a power steering cooler on mine. Here are the lines that are plumbed to the power steering cooler. And they just come right underneath the bottom of the radiator. And I have the power steering cooler mounted, like right down in there. There it is, there you can see it now. It's mounted to the front of the radiator. And so after I replace or swap this gearbox out, I'm gonna plumb my power steering fluid back through the cooler. Only because pretty much every last single one of General Motors LS power engines have power steering coolers. And so what that means is yeah, your power steering fluid is gonna be cooled using the power steering cooler. It's gonna run cooler. And you ask yourself, well, what is that gonna do for you? Number one, it's gonna make your power steering pump last longer. Number two, it's gonna make your gearbox or rack and pinion or whatever you got, it's gonna make it last longer because your fluid is running cooler and it's not getting excessively hot and circulating through your system. It might even work better. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's something else that I learned. Save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time, save you a lot of frustration. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's number 4 thing. And the 5th and the final thing is I recently learned this too. If you're doing an LS swap or you plan on doing one, or this is an absolute must. I don't care what anybody say, this is a must. But your power steering pump, they have what's called pressure valves. And I did not know that depending on what type of vehicle that you have or what type of gearbox you have, is gonna require different pressure. So you can have a pressure valve inside of your power steering pump that puts out too much pressure. Or you can have a power steering pressure valve inside of your pump that don't put out enough pressure. And I'm gonna give you a quick example. The Ford rack and pinions, or the Ford steering gearboxes, they only can take like 900 PSI. I don't know what the exact number is. You can look it up on Google or something, but I know that they take only like 900 PSI. And if you take a power steering pump, it's putting out like 1500 PSI. What is it gonna do to that rack? It's gonna tear it up. What is it gonna do to that power steering box? It's gonna break it because it's putting out too much PSI. Now, if you have like a Chevy rack and pinion or a Chevy power steering gearbox, I think they require up to like 1500 PSI in order to operate properly. And if you have a power steering pump that has a pressure valve in it that limits the pressure to 900 PSI, guess what? Your power steering ain't gonna never work right. Ain't gonna never work right. I just wanted to put that out there. I just wanted to take a few minutes out my day to share this knowledge, share this information with y'all, man, to be able to help somebody else. I know God wouldn't allow for me to go through it if he didn't want me to help somebody else, YouTube. So do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, click that subscribe button. Go ahead and do that right now for me. If you already subscribed, I want you to click that like button. If you thought that this video was beneficial, yeah, go ahead and click that like button right there, man. And turn your notification bell on. If you have not, man, y'all go ahead, turn your notification bell on. We got a lot of great videos, just like this video. We got a lot of great videos coming up. So, you know, hey, click that notification button. Another thing, you can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Chevys _R _us. And you can also find me on TikTok. My TikTok handle is Tony _S wife on TikTok. So make sure you lock in with me on TikTok as well as Instagram. And we'll go from there, YouTube. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. And God bless every last single one of y'all. And we'll holler at y'all later. YouTube! YouTube!